Hi guys, it's Luna, and welcome back to another video. Sorry if I'm really quiet, it's late at night. Today we're going to be talking about another Butch Hartman controversy because, of course, there's another one. It's pretty similar to the last one. If you don't know what the last one was, he was accused of tracing over this image and selling it as commission. Now, if this image was traced, possibly. Honestly, it's debatable. People are just like, no, it's solid. Fucking did it. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I look at this image, and even when I looked at it, like, matched up, I'm like, there are a lot of things that don't line up to where, I don't know. But, honestly, you could say it's traced, and I wouldn't even be mad at you. But with this one in particular, this is the image people are saying that he traced, which, no, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. He did not trace this. Now, for one, if you mean the actual definition of tracing, or at least the one that's more known, apparently, because apparently there's another one, but we'll get into that a bit later. The actual definition of tracing, or the one that we all know, is tracing over a fucking image, or tracing aspects of an image, like tracing the pose out and then drawing over it. Tracing the entire image, maybe recoloring it. It's drawing over an image pretty much. If you're arguing that he did that, then you're wrong. He didn't. You can match the image up yourself. Someone did it on Twitter. Not traced. Now, if you want this other definition of tracing, which people are, I think they're not understanding that, like, it's not really tracing. It's more copying of what they're trying to say, which is copying what the artist did. The artist owns the piece of work, and that's about it. The elements within the work, they do not own. The pose in which the person is standing, which is the only thing that he actually could have stolen or copied, the artist does not own. I could make the person in that pose right now. I'm not going to because I have a few things I want to draw, but I could make someone in that pose right now. Wouldn't be stealing from that artist. If you want to say they stole the assets within that, you'd be wrong as well, because the artist does not own that. That character is from Attack on Titan. The artist does not own the character from Attack on Titans or any of the attributes that that character has. The outfit, none of it. None of it. If he had taken the actual piece itself and sold it as commission, then you'd have a thing of he traced or he stole, but he didn't. And if you want to make the argument, well, people just don't do that and that's just a common courtesy thing that artists do not do, you'd be wrong. If that's your definition of tracing, him taking the pose and then drawing the same character basically, then again, people do that all the time. And if someone did do that, that's not even like a fucking leap in thought. That's just one step away from me, well, doing what you're probably going to be seeing me do on screen, which is take a reference picture of a pose, draw that pose, or at least attempt because his anatomy is way off, draw that pose, and then put a character over it. This one's just my character. That one is a character that neither of those artists own. Now, when it's this blatant, most people don't do this. But is this a crime? No. Is this something that never happens ever or no one's ever done ever? No. If this wasn't Butch Hartman, would anybody really care? Not really, as long as they didn't trace it. Hell, even him claiming that the image is his, it is. He made that pose. He drew the character. He made that image. That image is his. He did not steal anything from anyone. Now, if you want to say it's common courtesy, where I come from, or in the art circles I'm with, if you're going to blatantly take those elements like he did to credit the person, you have an argument there. I mean, it's a mad argument, but you can clown on him if that's how you feel. But if people are saying that he traced, that's a lie. If you're saying that he copied a pose. Are we going with pose theft again? Like, I don't get it. Because if I took that pose, which I can right now, and put another character over it, I can do that. Hell, if I took that pose, put the same character over it, I can do that as well. If I just took out the, I forget what they're called, but the side things right here. If I took those out and just had the character, could still do that. If I put the character in a different outfit, could still do that. Nothing stopping me. I still wouldn't be stealing. They own nothing from that piece of artwork because I made it. You don't own the character. You don't own poses. You don't own any of the attributes. The only thing that the artist owns is that they drew the piece themselves. Again, if you want to go with morality, that's understandable. That we just don't do that. That's like a known thing not to do that. That's understandable. I mean, it's debatable, but it's understandable. But I just can't be like, nah, he's traced that, he stole that. Not really, that piece is his. It belongs to him. The other one, you could make an argument for it being traced or it being copied in some way, shape, or form. That's not pose theft. But this one, it's just pose theft. He just copied the pose. And to make another argument for this, because I just thought of this, does he take references? Because if he takes references, this is just dumb. Now, again, it depends on if he takes references or not, because I know that the initial process for getting commission from him is just like email him what you want and have it described to you, but I don't know if you can then send a reference or they ask you for a reference if, you know, he takes the commission or whatever. I don't know if that's part of the process, but if he does not take references, then again, then you have somewhat of a conversation that can be had. But if he does take references, someone just plopped up this reference and he just drew it, but that's just wishful thinking on my part. That really isn't confirmed that's a thing, so that's just conspiracy theory at this point. And I do have to low-key defend him on his pricing as well. People are just like, well, it's low quality, it's this, that, and the third. If it was Bibsy Pop, would you be saying the same thing? No, you would not. And people are just like, yeah, I would. If it was my favorite, it would not. You wouldn't. You just wouldn't. Because if it was someone like, hell, let's go down a grade. If it was something like someone drawing Gumball from The Amazing World of Gumball, that's low quality. You're like, just, well, no, the lines are clean and whatnot. If they're drawing a sketch from that or Fairly Odd Parents, it'd be the exact same thing. It's a sketch. It's a quick drawing commission because this man gets them all the fucking time. So yes, it's gonna look sloppy. The lines probably aren't gonna be super clean. All that isn't gonna be done super well. And he has the right to do that. And his commission prices aren't just going off of his art alone. If that were the case, if it was a nobody, it was just going off of the art, then I'd question it a bit. You're also going off of the weight his name carries. Again, if I got a personal commission from Bibsy Pop, I don't care if it's a sketch, I don't care if it's a storyboard, like the little shitty storyboards too, where you can not barely see what's going on, but it's like very quick and it's just, you can kind of understand. Or it's a thumbnail piece, just like a little blob of like where something, I don't care what it is. If I got something from her or I got something from my favorite, like someone who helped fucking make the characters from Naruto, I don't care if it's a shitty sketch or not, I'm paying $200. Obviously, we don't like Butch Hartman, so we're not paying that money. But this person did. They're not just paying it because they hate him or they're being forced at gunpoint, like fucking pay him money. That's not what's happening. They are using their hard-earned money to pay him to make the quality of work he has been putting out consistently for his commission. From the last controversy to now, they have seen what his commissions look like. All of them aren't great. They knew what they were getting into, but because his name, hell, a whole thing was trending on Twitter because people didn't like what he was doing. His name carries a good amount of weight, and if someone wants to pay for his commission, whether you think they're shitty or not, who cares? People are acting like it's his fault that his commissions are so much and people are paying for them. If I made $200 commissions, are you paying for it? Hell no. You'd look at me crazy and no one would commission me ever. People are commissioning him because it's worth it to them. People can see that people can mimic the art style that's like Danny Phantom or Fairly Odd Parents or Tough Puppy. People can do that and people see that people can do that, but they're not commissioning them because they don't care about the no-name who can do that. It's literally his name and who he is that is carrying the commission price. And I don't care what you say, that's just what it is. He's doing something that people always talk about artists doing, saying their commission prices reasonably. If you don't think it's reasonable, it's because you don't fucking like him. But he knows what his fan base thinks of him, and the people who do like him, and what they would pay for, and what his name carries, and what he's done, and what his accomplishments were, whether we like him or not. He knows his worth. He is setting his prices off of his worth. And I personally can't say that that's unreasonable. If it was the art alone, yes, from his name, I can't argue with those prices. Because again, if it was a person who worked on Naruto, even if it was someone who didn't even draw, and they drew me a picture of Naruto and signed it, I don't care if it looked like a circle with spiky hair and a yellow dress with 3 arms, I would pay because that would be original drawing from someone that I look up to. And that person would know that I would wear it because they know their worth as an artist. Again, if you want to argue morals, and if you think he's a good person, and if you think he should be doing that, that's fine. You can't call it tracing because it's blatantly not. You can't even call it stealing because it's not. We're not gonna sit here and argue pose theft. I'm not having it. We're not doing this. You could maybe call this not common. I think it's common. I've seen it many times. I've done it myself. Copied a pose to use in a piece of art and then put my character over it. So I can't even say I've never done it. Even in the specific circumstances of copying a pose and then seeing someone put the same character over that pose, I've seen it. Some people don't really have a problem with it. But if you're just like, no, in my circle, that's not normal, I don't see that, you can totally argue that. But I'm not going to sit here and say that this man isn't worth shit because I don't like his art, or I think his art is poor quality, or I think his sketches are poor quality. I can't, because I've watched Tough Puppy, I've watched Fairly Odd Parents, I've watched Danny Phantom, I've watched them all. I still like them. I still will dance the Fairly Odd Parents theme song. From the work that he did in creating these shows or working on these shows, whether he did the drawings originally for them or not, I don't care if he couldn't draw. If he drew the sketch and it was up for sale and I really cared that much, I take it. I don't even care if it's not in the original art style. I would take it if I cared that much. I'm not going to get mad at a man for not copying, not technically stealing, and knowing his worth. I can't be mad at him for that. You can, that's your choice, but I can't. But that's just how I personally feel. Anyways, I'll see you all. BB.
Just remember this. We could have been stardust, same world but without us. Something made us find each other out there, made us realize we're more